Welcome back, everybody, to the episode 2 of the revamped, revisioned, reimagining of the Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast. Did I get that right?
You did, buddy. Good job.
Off the top of my head, I had to write it down last week because I wasn't sure if I didn't get it.
Good job.
We are back with episode 2.
Look at us. Model of consistency we are.
You know, you gotta, if you want things to work, you gotta be around.
You gotta be around.
And so, I'm episode 2 of the Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast. I'm Corey.
I'm Brent.
And we are back this week after our debut episode last week.
Yep.
Put it out on YouTube.
Yep.
And I'll let you handle all that.
Yeah. You will get there, buddy. We'll get there.
So, excited to be here. We have a huge show.
Yeah. It'll be a fun one.
Producer Brent has been hard at work creating different activities for us to... So much room for
like doing karate in the garage. Just
for us to bring good, entertaining content to the listeners. It's draft night.
Yeah, it is draft night, and we'll get into the details of that later on. But with the upcoming WWE draft and I don't want to say rumors. I mean, they're pretty much confirmed that the WWE will be going with a more hard split, no more of this wild card rule. Because I really feel like it's been very blurred lately. Like guys are just kind of coming in and out.
Well, I was just asking you about the tag team titles,
right?
Because
the Revival have the SmackDown ones, but yet they're essentially Raw brand. Like so, in honor or kind of playing along with this firm split, we're going to do our own little mock draft here on the back end of the show.
We have there's semi rules created, that Brent has created to make it kind of structured,
right?
But it is our draft night here on the Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast to pick teams and basically come up with who has the better roster at the end of the night.
Right. Never mind. I won't go fantasy football.
Well, let's take it easy. Because you are now talking to, I already did the math, the first, which is Brent, and the second place teams in our fantasy football league.
Yes.
Currently, Brent did defeat me last week.
Yes. And I'm reigning champ. We can't ignore that.
Well, you also drafted all Bengals one year. So
that was year 2.
Doesn't matter. People don't forget. And so, anyways, before we get into all that, we need to handle business as usual.
Yes.
And like I said, Brent is our social media guru. He is on Twitter. You can usually catch him tweeting during the other shows, multiple WWE shows of the week, which is another thing we'll be talking about.
Yes.
He is on multiple different platforms. He is going to run down all of those things because, as you probably just noticed, I only know the one.
Yeah.
So,
thanks, buddy. So if you want to listen to our show, YouTube's going to be a way to do that. And again, big thanks to our friend Anthony at the Autograph Cave podcast. He gave us a shout, by having me on there initially, like we talked about last week. Helped us get our stuff out on social media too. So go ahead and check out the Autograph Cave podcast. But yeah, YouTube's the place to go for that. You can search our channel, Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast. We're on there. You can find us on Twitter and on Instagram with the same handle, Cheap Pops WP for Wrestling Podcast, Cheap Pops WP. And we'd like to give a big shout out this week to Carmella, the wonderful
Queen of
Staten Island. Again, being as active as I try to be on our Twitter account, I commented on a post of hers the other day, and she liked it, and we appreciate that. We've been fortunate in our past renditions of the show. We have had American Alpha, as they were formerly known, and the Revival like some tweets of ours. We had a couple other various wrestlers like some things that we had said. So we've got some good responses from some of the WWE employees, and we appreciate Carmella for taking the time to read our tweet.
We've always been, we haven't expressed it on this show, but Huge fans of Carmella.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's great.
I do like her new thing. Like, the stuff with R-Truth has been fun.
She's really good in any role they throw her in. I mean, if you really look at it, she was thrown in with not currently thrown in with R-Truth.
Yeah.
And R-Truth has a real knack of just making anything he does kind of entertaining and funny.
Yeah.
But she's kind of fit right in well with that. She was with what's the goof? Vince McMahon. What's the little goof?
James Ellsworth.
Yeah, she was
Vince McMahon. Great. Still one of the best names ever.
She was thrown in kind of with him, and that worked for a while when she was the champion.
She really has made the most of her opportunities.
I just discovered in my own mind that Carmella's a lot more talented than she gets credit.
Yeah. So shout out, Carmella. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for liking us. If you want to be a guest, please let us know. We'll get you taken care of. But that's, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and then we do have an email address, which I know most people don't use nowadays. Usually if people want to send us how much that we suck, we'll do that via the Twitter.
To hear either one.
But if you want to email us at cheappopswrestlingpodcast@gmail.com, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have on the air. So that is all our platforms. That's how you get a hold of us. That's how you'll listen to us and enjoy all the content we're trying to bring you.
Are we on Instagram, bro?
Yeah, we are. Cheap Pops WP, Instagram and Twitter.
All right, you just said that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I do love a good Instagram post.
It's hard because I don't really know if our faces need to be on there. No. So there's not really much to post, but I always try to post on the stories when our episodes will be dropping, so that way at least people can keep up to date.
That's nice. Was there a Facebook on there?
No, not yet. We are working on a Facebook page.
Facebook is on the way.
Facebook is on the way.
Okay, sounds good. Beautiful.
So, yeah.
And that'll be another place where you can find the show, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We can, for sure. So, so that's all that stuff. But what I want to do, and Corey, I'm going to pitch this to you first. We had an anticipated debut this week in WWE because NXT went live on the USA Network for the first time. No longer, I don't want to say no longer because I don't know what they're going to be necessarily doing going forward, but not pre-taped, not airing on the WWE Network, live, USA Network, only a 1-hour show. I watched start to finish, wanted to see the whole thing, wanted to see what played out. I want to know your initial thoughts on NXT's debut USA episode.
So, I didn't realize, because I initially seen it marketed as a 2-hour show.
Yes.
I didn't realize that 1 hour was going to be on TV and then the second hour was on the network.
I did not know that either.
So the 1 hour that we saw on TV was on TV.
Yeah.
And then there was a second hour on the network.
Okay. Is that going to be permanent, or are they doing both hours on USA?
That I don't know. I think as of right now, I think that might be the model they're using.
Okay.
Because I know that NXT was a big traffic drive
for the network.
Yeah. So they probably want to try and keep that up. There was nothing really of note on the second hour on the network.
Okay.
Type thing. As far as what we saw for that hour, I think you did a great job of kind of representing. And again, I have to give probably credit to Triple H. I mean, I think we saw a great representation of what NXT is currently. I think like the guys like Cameron Grimes, who had like a 32-second match, not even, but it kind of shows like the star potential there. Gets a new face out there.
He was on that breakout tournament, if I remember correctly. Finished second in the breakout tournament.
Right.
I dug him. I thought his whole persona was really cool.
And see, it was a cool little. I almost call it skit just because it wasn't really a match.
Right.
And kind of got that look out there. You got to showcase some women who are going to be challenging Shayna Baszler, who's been champion for I think
they said like 320 days now or something like that.
The thing that kind of bothered me about NXT is every women's champ seems to be
champ forever.
It's like long. Like you had Asuka, you had Sasha, you had I don't even think Charlotte was champion. Paige was long.
Right.
I mean, it's just like over and over and over. It's like these. I think there's probably like only 5 holders in the entire history of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I do like. I think Shayna Baszler cuts a really nice heel promo.
Mm-hmm.
I personally kind of find her a little boring. She can have good matches. I've enjoyed some of her matches, but not like I have past women's feuds.
It's almost like a Brock Lesnar type thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Like,
I mean, I see the appeal, I guess I'll say.
Sure.
But I don't know if she might just not be my cup of tea. I like Candice LeRae. I think it's a good mix. I think she can do a lot of really cool things in the ring that can mesh well with Baszler.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really nice pairing to kind of kick off your women's division on TV.
Yeah.
And so then that brings me to the main event. In the first, if you listen to the first episode, you know I'm a huge mark for Adam Cole.
Oh, yeah.
He's your NXT champion. To me, him and Velveteen Dream are like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Nobody even, maybe just 2 1As because as far as star potential go.
Right.
So I love the main event of Velveteen versus Roderick Strong. I get why you do the title change. I don't understand why Adam Cole wasn't in a more featured role.
Yeah.
He came out, he helped. It made, if you've never seen NXT, you don't know anything about it. It looked like Roderick Strong was the leader of the Undisputed Era, and everybody else was just helping him. That's just kind of my thought on it. I would have preferred Adam Cole in a more elevated role. However, that being said, Roderick Strong versus Velveteen Dream was outstanding.
Oh, it was a really, really good match.
Velveteen is a star, if I've ever seen one. It's a weird, goofy, cool gimmick.
Yeah.
I think I texted you and said it's Prince meets Goldust.
Yeah, with a little Rick Rude in there, too.
Yeah, with
There's
Rude.
like a little Rick Rude.
It's just, it's a very cool, funny, it's all kinds of different things wrapped into one.
Yeah.
And he is playing that role to absolute perfection.
Yeah.
Which I think is a cool thing because I don't know this for a fact, but I think that you see more character development because I think they're given a direction,
Mm-hmm.
but I really think they let them play with their characters.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
see what works.
Yeah.
And they do also, that being said, they also have a little bit more freedom because before they weren't on TV. They work in front of a small crowd, so they can easily, and they shot 4 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
So you can easily edit stuff out that
Yeah.
doesn't work, different things like that. That being said, I thought it was a great debut episode. I thought the crowd was great, as they usually always are in NXT events. Kicking off the third brand that they're now calling it, the third main roster brand. I also thought, like, in my mind, they kind of gave a good example of, like, you know, you got your Raw, SmackDown, which is going to be our more WWE-based, classic WWE type stuff. This is our third kind of wrestling brand.
Yeah.
That is our wrestling guys and girls. That if you're a more traditional fan and you have been leaning towards AEW, here's our answer to a more traditional wrestling brand.
Yeah.
Which I thought they did a great job kicking it off. I think they have a great mind behind the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it could be very successful with a little bit more. I don't know about the whole 2 hours on TV thing. I might end up being a lot. They do their takeovers in 2 hours, so I don't really know if that's something they're looking for. But so far, I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, yeah. I tend to lean the same way that you're at. I thought the Fatal 4-Way with the women was solid. Mia Yim, I think that's her name. Is I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, and she just challenged at the last takeover.
Yeah, she was solid. And then, what was it? Was it Io Shirai that was in there too?
Yeah, and Shirai's already been a challenger.
I think she's going to be really strong. This new like heel, because I know she was like a face kind of early on, and then like she turned on Candice LeRae, and I like this little heel persona of her. I know they're really high on Bianca Belair, which I saw some flashes of. Like, I think she's still young and has some seasoning to do, but she's kind of got it, so to speak. You know, she's got that persona.
You know who she's married to?
Who?
She is married to Montez Ford.
Is he? Oh, the Street Profits? Wow, yeah. I mean, you see some similarities, you know, in terms of their persona. But I thought she, you know, I think she could have it, you know. And Candice LeRae, like you said, solid baby face to kind of start, kind of that underdog type person. So I like that. I do see what you're saying about, you know, like with the Undisputed Era having Roderick Strong in there, it almost appeared like he was the leader. Mm-hmm. But I think what they did do a good job of, you notice there was a couple packages about specific people. Like I think they gave Johnny Gargano one, right. And I think they gave Adam Cole one, and they had a couple things that Adam Cole was in, like video package wise. So I think what they're trying to do is introduce their big stars and get the audience familiar with them first, you know, like you said, in case someone's tuning in for the first time. But I do agree with you. I'm so high on Adam Cole. It would have been nice to have maybe seen him in a much more featured role.
Right.
But I personally love that the Undisputed Era has all the belts. Mm-hmm. It gives everyone something to chase. You know me, I've always been a big fan of kind of the dominant factions. Like when Nexus was first starting, I loved what Nexus was doing. Mm-hmm. The Shield, you know, I love the idea of just a really dominant faction. And so I'm totally okay with it. And again, Triple H, having experience in not only DX, but Evolution, kind of knows that world. And so I think him and Sean are probably kind of like really hands-on with them when it comes to that. The intro is Triple H loves him, like what I call a theatrical intro. Like, you know, he's like behind the curtain with the black, you know, like I was like, he loves him that.
Big on
so that made me smirk. My only big critique is the Full Sail crowd is definitely small. It's loud and it's passionate, but it's small, and you can tell it's small. And I'm not saying you have to go to these big stadiums, but I wonder if eventually they're going to do like a USA taping, or if it's live or whatever, from other cities, and like SmackDown and like Raw, because I think that could help, just exposing them to the other audiences, letting other audiences be exposed to television. I think could be interesting. Sure. If they're just at Full Sail the entire time, I think that, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be a fan of that, but
give a little of a TNA vibe.
Yeah. It gives a little bit of the TNA, you know, kind of pre-tape package vibe. And so I'll just be. I mean, obviously, I think they're trying to start out small, and I think that is smart. They don't want to just blow it up and make it some crazy thing that everyone gets oversaturated with. So for the first episode, just fine. You know, I was enjoying it. I like. The 1 hour goes by quickly. I was almost left going, oh, that's it? Like, not in a bad way, but like, oh, it's already done, right. Which I think is okay. If you leave your audience kind of wishing there was more, then I think you did your job. Because there's times on Raw I'm fast forwarding just to get to the end.
Constantly.
You know, and so having just 1 hour to get through, it feels quick. And so you're almost left going like, I wish there was more match. Yeah. So that's always a good thing. Less is definitely more to some extent.
Sure. It's very old school. Like, even takeovers where, I mean, heck, any pay-per-view now for WWE is like, I mean, we're talking 15 matches.
Yeah.
Because it's 3.5, 4 hours long. Where takeovers, it's 4 matches.
Yeah.
4 good matches.
Right.
Boom, bam, boom, get what you need, you're out. And that's a very old school mentality.
It's almost like Saturday. Remember those Saturday morning wrestling shows?
Yeah,
it's like that.
Exactly like that, because and wrestling used to be on for an hour once a week.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't watch it, you didn't know what happened.
Yep.
Obviously, that's not going to come back about not knowing what happened.
Oh, but, sure.
I mean, it's just the talent level in NXT, and I think the main roster gets a little bit of a bad rap of not having talent, because it's not allowed to shine like NXT is. I do think NXT has an incredible amount of talent, but I bet you that there's a lot of guys, like, probably not Rollins, because he's probably making a lot of money, he's a champion, but I bet there's a small part of him as the wrestler it's probably like, I want to go there.
That wants there,
because I'm sick of people saying that I'm this cardboard WWE champion guy.
And some probably for the freedom, you know, like I know we've talked about personally Kevin Owens, right? Like, imagine what Kevin Owens could do back with some of those guys, you know, wrestling an Adam Cole, wrestling a Roderick Strong, wrestling a Velveteen Dream, Cesaro, you know, he's a guy that I think of. Even some of the women who might have gone a little stale, like Ember Moon, you know, take her back there and let her maybe get creative with where her character's going. You know, I mean, you could even throw someone like an Alexa Bliss back down there and let her, like, almost do, like, another thing like she did with Bayley and to Candice LeRae and people like that. Like, I'm sure there's some main roster, even though we can't really use that anymore, but some main roster people that are definitely, I'm half the tag team division, I'm sure, would love to go back. The Revival and all them that would love to probably go back down.
Yeah, and it's a fun, it's a cool little thought that, like, you have the Undisputed Era being this dominating faction. And I agree. I do. If you're going to be a heel faction, and it's hard to be a heel because, damn it, they're all good.
Yeah.
So people love them.
Right.
And when you're really good, like Adam Cole is, like Roderick Strong is, like even the other two, Fish and O'Reilly.
They're great, like, quieter henchmen. You know what I mean?
And like they're perfect for that tag team henchman role. It also sets up, to me, down the line, it sets up for the clear-cut thing of Strong and Cole
going at it.
Two singles guys. I mean, Strong is your classic. He is a fantastic wrestler. He's very good. Everything in ring, he's great. Hasn't had a lot of promo work, so I don't know. I don't know if he's good or not. But I know Cole is, and so I think that, like, a program set up like that, which always happens, it always eventually turns. Where it happened with Orton and Triple H, happened with Batista and Triple H. It took a little longer, but Hunter and Michaels ended up doing it. It always ends up happening, and it's just like your classic every time somebody, and Strong will be the babyface, because he's always going to be viewed as like the underling. And then he steps up, and it's just it sets up perfectly. But then you still got guys like Velveteen, who can continue to chase that title all forever, as far as I'm concerned. After that, they need to make some. They need to make some stars.
Yeah, it's a little thin right now on the male side.
Yeah, they need to make some challengers. This Grimes could be somebody. I know they like Keith Lee, and they've been pushing him a lot, and he's a big dude.
He's solid.
Do some
Matt
stuff.
Riddle's obviously kind of there.
Matt Riddle's always there.
Killian Dane, they've been kind of pushing as a little bit more of like not a monster, but that kind of like more aggressive type. Which, I mean, if you have the title on a baby face, he could step up and challenge.
And you need to build some guys to be challengers up. I kind of think Matt Riddle might fall into that role because he's already got the super over babyface stuff working. But it's just going to be really hard right now because it's hard to be a heel, period. And Adam Cole is so damn cool. Because, I mean, there's a big difference between heel like Baron Corbin. And I've flip-flopped on this. At first I thought it was Getaway. Now I just think he's pretty damn good. I've changed my mind.
We talked about this about the whole King of the Ring, him winning King of the Ring.
I think he's pretty damn good. He is so hateable.
He
is like... I have not seen a hateable heel in so long, and it's not because he's just good, but it's hard to claim like he's a good heel and then Adam Cole isn't, because it's two completely different heels. Because a Shawn Michaels back in the day heel would not work nowadays. It'd get the same reaction as Adam Cole, and because they're cool and they're damn good. And they know they're damn good. Where that used to piss people off back in the day. Now people think it's awesome. And it's just a kind of a change in the thing. And it is so hard to be a heel. And I don't care what anybody says. But right now, Baron Corbin might be the only one that knows how to really get true old school heel heat.
Yeah. I mean, sadly to say, I think you're right. I mean, maybe the Revival flirt that line a little bit. I think they are capable of it.
But even guys like us, like
right,
like
we dig them. Like we dig them.
Like you actually hate Baron Corbin.
I cannot stand him.
And
but I thought about your comment, and it's like now every time I see him, I'm trying to like piece it together. Like, do I hate him because he's bad, or do I just hate him because he's doing his job? Right? Like and you start to actually convince yourself like he's just actually doing his job.
He's not bad in the ring.
No, well, everything I hear is he's incredibly safe. Like, I hear a lot of people like working with him because of he's so safe and he works so hard at making sure he protects the guys he's doing.
Matches and
I will say the End of Days, to me, honestly, I will say this, is one of my favorite finishing moves.
And I love the Deep Six.
It looks cool. Like, Deep Six is cool because of the spins, but that End of Days move, I don't know, there's something about it that I just think is really cool.
It
looks like a true finisher.
Well,
like, you look like you're really going to be hurt taking that.
It made me really think because I was like, I don't even know what it was. We saw one of his matches live at a pay-per-view, and I left leaving going, well, that wasn't bad. And then I started thinking, well, it's because he was with Rollins. And I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people just write him off just because they don't like him. It's just because it's Rollins. And then I started watching more, and then more matches, and I'm like, he's not bad. And then I started thinking about more and more. I was like, well, I don't dislike him because he's a bad wrestler, because he's not. He has good matches. Well, why do I dislike him? Because he's doing his job.
Yeah.
And it's a weird...
It's a
realization.
It's a weird place to be.
In wrestling in 2019, when you realize you hate a guy because he's actually doing his job.
Yeah.
And he's very good at it.
You told me the same thing about The Miz. Remember, we've had this discussion about The Miz before, and now now I've appreciated heel Miz. I love face Miz, and I'm like, there's a Hall of Famer. The Miz is a future Hall of Famer.
Bonafide.
Like 100%. And Corbin's on his way to that now.
Well, see, you want to know why The Miz is, and we've talked about this before, and I know you know why because we've talked about this. But The Miz is because right now he's been in a babyface for a while. He's been a face role, and people like him. Mm-hmm. No matter what, I look at The Miz, and I don't buy face. I never have.
Oh, no. He screams a-hole heel.
Shane McMahon can slap his dad as many times as he wants. I don't care. He is a heel.
Yeah.
And that guy knows how to get people to hate him.
Yeah.
And it's even weirder when you watch his show, The Miz and Mrs. Because he's actually kind of likable.
He's on The Real World, for gosh sakes. Like, that's how he got to start.
He's such a tool, but he's a likable tool. And there's just, I would say The Miz is another guy who knows how to get real heel heat.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just don't know. I mean, because, again, like, Kevin Owens should be a great heel, but he's too cool.
Yeah. Yep.
People like him too much.
Yep.
He's too good on the mic. He's too this. He's too that.
Yeah.
You know who else can get booed up if he wants to?
Who?
Jericho.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a legend.
Yeah.
But the fact that he still, after all these years, can flip, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And get booed out of a building because he's a heel is incredible.
Oh, I give him a lot of credit. He's going strong.
I mean, it wasn't just one place. It wasn't like Shawn Michaels walking into Montreal.
Right.
Right.
Like, no, Jericho will do that continuously.
Right.
But he flirts with that cool territory too, because his line, like, a little bit of the bubbly. I mean, he has these little moments and lines where you're like, dude, you're so cool. Like,
he's such a legend. It's just not even.
Oh, he is. We could talk about Jericho. Jericho, you want to come on our podcast too? Come on, let's go. We'll Talking Shop. I heard they wanted to redo Talking Shop. By the way, Carl Anderson tweeted that they should bring back Talking Shop, and he wanted to know what fans thought.
With who? Just those two?
With him and Gallows. And I said yes, and then I tweeted back that we can be your first guests.
You know what I love more? I loved Jericho's Talking Chops.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved the first episode they ever did it because he even admits, like, halfway through, he was like, I wasn't sure what the hell was going on here, but now I get it. Now I'm into it. It's like, he was actually trying to interview him.
Right, and they don't know. They just want to talk.
It was totally impossible.
Yeah.
And they were just going doing impressions and like riffing off of each other and telling stories and stuff, and Jericho was clearly trying to interview them at first, and then about probably 25 minutes in, Jericho was like, all right, I get it now. Like, I understand what we're doing, and I'm into it. We'll just do this.
Yeah.
And they ended up doing like 7 of them.
Yeah, the one with Braun Strowman.
Oh, I mean, just
classic.
They're just, it is pure hilarity entertainment.
Places I pooped. I still never will forget that. Braun Strowman talking about this app.
It is just pure gold.
So
and it's
good.
too bad because I really want Braun Strowman to be this monster heel that he should be.
But he's kind of
He is funny though.
He's just a big doof. Like,
he has a great personality.
Yeah.
I was watching off topic, but I was watching Dinner for Three.
Oh, Table for Three on the network. Is he on there?
He was on there with because he travels. All he travels with is girls.
I thought him and EC3 are buddies.
Well,
though.
maybe he's there too. But
Okay.
he literally like is always with.
Oh, was it him and like Alexa Bliss
and Ember Moon? And like
there's a trio.
He's always with like Alexa.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, they probably think it's like a built-in bodyguard.
And so yeah, probably. But they go to Applebee's. And they're
eating. The Applebee's?
Yeah, they're at Applebee's. And they're eating.
That's such a Braun thing.
And Braun gets like one of their monster big burgers.
Of course he does.
And like all these like just fries out. Just freaking crushes his. And Ember like got a side salad and was eating her salad and like left her burger like off to the side. And he crushed his burger. And the two of them were just like still eating, and he's just sitting there, and Alexa was like, do you want some of my fries? And so he just goes, oh yeah, and starts digging in our fries. And then about a little bit longer goes by, he looks over and Ember still hasn't touched the burger, and he's like, you gonna try that? And she was like, go ahead, Braun, you can try it. And he takes it, and I bet you he smashes like 2 bites of it, and he was like, it's pretty good. And she eventually just goes, just take it. You can just have it. And he freaking smashes her burger. And it's like, the man is just, he just eats and eats and freaking, he's so damn big.
Yeah.
I've never seen, I can't even imagine how many calories he eats a day.
Oh, gosh. He is a mythical creature.
I mean, he housed 2 burgers, his fries, and then he ended up finishing the rest of Alexa's fries. And
I love they were at Applebee's.
I mean, it was incredible.
Surprised they didn't do karaoke afterwards.
Yeah.
Braun loves him some karaoke.
Braun just seems like a fun dude.
Oh, I would pay money to hang out with him.
Yeah, and then like it was really early in his career when he was on Talkin' Shop.
Yeah.
With Jericho.
Yeah.
And they were just making fun of everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you get a chance, audience, go back and listen to that. Listen to that jam. So yeah. So should we move on to our game? Should we random segue here? Let's get to this random game here. So like we talked about, it's draft night here on the Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast, and so here are the parameters for this. I have a little dice here that you can hear that rolling. I'm going to roll this. Corey's going to call it. Either he's going to call 1 to 3 or 4 to 6. Whoever's numbers it lands on, that person gets first pick of what show they would like to run. Now, that is important because whatever show you inherit, you also inherit the champions of that show. So those are not people you have to draft. Those individuals are currently on your show. And so we are establishing that as Raw has the Universal Champion, the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Women's Champion, and the United States Champion. SmackDown will have the WWE Champion, the Intercontinental Champion, and their Tag Team and Women's Champion.
Question.
Yes.
No, forgive me for this. I know Alexa and Nikki Cross are the Women's Champions Tag Team.
Yes.
Is there only just one set?
There's only one set, and they are the only belt that gets to technically float.
Okay.
So both teams can possess both them. Then we will take turns. So whoever gets to pick the show, the other person gets the first pick in the draft, and we will essentially get 7 picks. Within those 7 picks, we get to draft 2 tag teams, 2 women, 2 male superstars, and then 1, as we're calling it, a wild card. It could be from any one of those 3 groupings, just as another person we'd like to start with. Obviously, this would not be a complete roster. But this is just for the premise of time. We don't need to spend 3 hours drafting an entire 30-person roster. So we're just starting with kind of who would be our stable, our core grouping of people. I would like to also throw out the challenge that we leave off NXT, because I think as of right now, when this draft takes place, I'm not sure if they're going to be shifting people around from NXT or not.
Okay.
So for the sake of, again, keeping things concise, we're going to stick with just members of Raw and SmackDown.
Copy.
Okay? So, Corey, would you like 1 through 3 or 4 through 6?
What does this determine?
What show you get to pick. If you get to pick, it's like flipping a coin. It's like the coin toss.
Okay.
Like 1 through 3 or 4 through 6?
4 through 6.
4 through 6. It is a 2. So I win. Oh boy. See, there's one person I really want on SmackDown that's a champ, and there's one person I really want on Raw that's a champ.
So can we take champions?
No. So I'm trying to figure out now which show I want to control, because I would rather have the Raw Women's Champion, obviously, but I would rather have the SmackDown Tag Team Champs. I'll take SmackDown. I'm going to take SmackDown. Okay? So now that gives me automatically Kofi Kingston, Shinsuke Nakamura, The Revival, and Bayley. And you run Raw. You're Paul Heyman. And you now have Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, you have Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and Becky Lynch.
I cannot understand why you just picked SmackDown. Other than the Revival.
I want the Revival as tag team, and I will explain that later. Okay, so yeah, there's a reason why I wanted them. And why I wanted Kofi, but we'll get that. We'll get there. So, sir, since I won the coin toss, essentially, you get the first pick in the draft. So with your first overall pick in the Raw draft, who would you like to take?
I will take, with the first pick in the WWE draft. I'm torn.
It's a tough one.
I'm torn right now.
He is. He's frantically searching.
See.
Good thing we're not live.
Well, see, this is the problem. I have a very specific grouping I want.
I know.
However, for the purpose of ratings,
right,
I'm taking that into account.
Right.
I want... I don't dislike him, but he's just so boring and stale to me.
I know. But go ahead. Take him.
I'll take Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns goes to Raw. Roman Reigns. So Corey has now knocked out one of his male superstars.
And I'm already upset because I just thought of a better one.
I know. It's okay. You have another pick. You don't know who I'm going to pick. You have no idea. So.
I'm pretty sure I know.
You pretty sure? I'm not. My first pick is actually not going to be a male superstar.
Okay. I don't know who you're taking.
Yeah, I'm actually debating between a tag team or a female superstar currently right now.
Interesting.
My first pick, and I'm going to explain why here in a second. My first pick are going to be the Viking Raiders. I want a tag team, and I'm going to tell you why. And that's why I wanted the Revival. I believe wholeheartedly in tag team wrestling, and I personally think right now the WWE is pissing away what might arguably be their best stable of tag team talent that they have had in a long, long time. And I want to use SmackDown as a catapult to re-establishing strong tag team wrestling.
So why that?
I think they're an amazing tag team. I really do. I think the combination of Eric and Ivar are phenomenal. I don't think they need to talk. Their characters not need to change. You could have them as a dominating heel, or you could have them as just a dominating face. You have a great build between them and the Revival, because even though the Revival has that arrogant side to them, they can also play the cowardly heel very well. So they can kind of be dodging the Viking Raiders for weeks on, getting disqualified, getting counted out, like just continually building maybe to some like specialty gimmick match type of thing. So I want those two teams solely in the centerpiece of my tag team division. And so I'm going with Viking Raiders.
Interesting.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie to you. You could have picked that at the very end.
That's okay. I wanted to make sure I had them.
I think they're better. I think I like Otis and what's his name?
Oh, Heavy Machinery. They're great. They're comedy though. I want more serious
to pair with the Revival though.
Yes. Because I would use the Revival as a more cowardly team, like the cocky, cowardly team.
They don't have to be comedy. I mean, they just
right.
Otis is just funny.
Oh, he is. He's Chris Farley in wrestling form. Like he hands down is. He's great, and he's getting more. Like, have you seen? Now that we're on social media, have you seen his Instagram and Twitter feed? Do you know what it is? It's just pictures of Mandy Rose. Like, it literally is. Like, he just posts whatever Mandy Rose posts and is like, look at that fine. Like, he just literally kind of gawks at Mandy Rose through social media. It is hilarious.
I love them.
And I don't know if it's legit or not. There's part of me that thinks he actually has a crush on her.
I'm not big on the Viking Raiders.
So that's okay. That's okay. But, all right. But see, now you're in a good position. You have your second pick.
Okay.
I took Viking Raiders. Your second pick, who do you take?
I'll take the Fiend.
Gosh dang it! That is a great pick. I mean,
there's nobody with more buzz
than him. Yeah,
than him.
100%, hands down.
He is awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And I think it's only if they handle it correctly. He was on Raw again tonight, which don't overuse him. I'm a little concerned.
Don't overuse him
because it is getting so much buzz.
Yes. I
think he's a guy that you could even tease that he's there and then not show him.
Yep.
Having mess with people. I think that I loved the first Bray Wyatt. I thought that they ruined him.
Yeah.
With writing.
Yeah.
This version's even better, and I just really hope they don't do the same to him. But there's nothing about the Fiend to dislike right now.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Sadly, he briefly left my mind, and so had I had him in the forefront of my mind, I probably would have taken it first. I mean, that's a great pick, Reigns and Wyatt. So I'm going to be slightly strategic here because now that you've picked your two male superstars, I know I have the pick of the litter, so to speak, with the rest of the males, so I can wait. So I'm going to second pick. I'm going to take a female, and I'm going to take the queen herself. I'm going to take Charlotte Flair. I just think you need someone like her on a roster. She is a tremendous heel in terms of that dynamic. She's obviously phenomenal in the ring, and so you can put her with almost anybody, and she's going to put on a pretty damn good match.
Sure.
So I'm going to go Charlotte Flair as my second pick.
Okay.
So there we go.
Fair enough. I mean, you can't argue it.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's others we could go with, but I want her there.
With my next pick, I'm also going to go female.
Okay.
I'm going to do a few that they are currently doing.
Sasha Banks.
I'm going to take Sasha Banks.
I mean, it writes itself.
It's a great feud.
Yeah. And we've said before on our prior episodes, in our other reincarnations, the heel Sasha Banks is great.
It's not even close to...
It's just great.
It's not even close to what face Sasha Banks brings.
Yeah. So, I mean, her what she's not fully there yet, but she's planting the seeds of where that was, and it's great.
So does that not count towards that only counts as one female, right?
Banks?
Because we already have Becky, so
yes. Okay. Yeah, so you still have one female left to pick. Okay. Yeah, one female left to pick. Obviously I need a solid male at this point. I don't want to say it's a ratings grab because I don't think it is, but I also think he hasn't been fully used properly, and so I think maybe having this fresh start on SmackDown, you could take him multiple ways. My first male pick is I'm going to go with Braun Strowman.
Okay.
I would contemplate turning him heel because I think he could be an amazing monster heel if you just do it right. But like we said, he's also kind of funny, and so he has some of those face abilities, and so if you have... let's say Brock Lesnar wins the title, right, in the debut Fox one, right? You could have him and Brock go at it again and have Braun win as a face. So you have either direction you could go with him.
I can't argue against it. So, I sung his praises last week.
I'm gonna go because you took Wyatt, which I think far and away might be the best pick, and so I'll take Braun.
So I'll take, with my next pick, I will take the I guess they're the OC now.
Gallows and Anderson.
And
well, naturally, because you have AJ already.
And I would keep them as a stable.
Yes.
And
Grow the stable.
I would rebuild them more towards their Japanese selves.
Yeah, they're getting there. The face paint on the Gallows.
But I'd even make them even more bad and dastardly.
Right. And Carl Anderson even has, I think you noticed it a while back, he has the MG back on the knee pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'd start leaning with them, because I think they're two extremely talented dudes who get it. And I think as far as building a tag team stable or tag team division, I think they're great. I personally, my current champions, they would not have the titles very long, because I've discussed before how I don't like tag teams that are just thrown together.
Right, like Ziggler and Rude.
Yeah.
Now, since we're on that subject, this is a random side tangent here, but I just kind of mentioned it as a joke. Do you think they should grow the OC? Like, it's always just been the three of them, but obviously if they're trying to harken back to the Bullet Club had members kind of come in and out. Mm-hmm. Obviously there's been talk, not saying it's like legitimate rumor or anything, but people have talked about the idea of bringing Finn Balor into that fold because he once was a part of the Bullet Club. Do you think the OC should be something that they grow and add to as a faction, or is it okay just as the three of them?
I think you have to be very careful, because with factions, you don't. It's very much under especially the club is built very much under the NWO umbrella of like people just randomly joining. And different stuff like that, and everybody knows once everybody started joining the NWO, that's kind of when it got watered down. People kind of tuned out to it. So I think you have to be very careful. I do think that if you're going to start doing that, I think that you have to make them even more powerful. I think that Styles has to be built into the main event picture as opposed to the U.S. title picture. There has to be a reason you want to join the OC. Right now, just to be a mid-carder, I don't see why you'd want to join. And like just from a non-kayfabe standpoint, like why would you want to join them?
Right.
Just to be second fiddle. I think it'd be great for Finn, because I think Finn could fit that, or even maybe Finn goes to the main event picture.
Yeah.
I think Finn could fit perfectly into that little U.S. title slot. If you elevate AJ up into the main event push type thing.
Almost like an Undisputed Era type thing.
Yeah, it's same model.
Yep.
And then, once again, it writes itself where...
Finn and him.
Yeah.
Gosh, would you not love to see a War Game style match between like the OC with Finn Balor and the Undisputed Era?
Yeah, and I do love stables. And
stables are great. Not too many. You don't want 7 or 8 floating around, but it's got to be 1 or 2 good ones.
Right. And right now, there's just not a whole bunch on them, especially on your SmackDown and Raw side.
Yeah.
I don't consider the New Day a stable. I consider that a tag team.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what they were initially booked as. Like it was like they won the tag team titles and it became that, what was it, the Freebird rule, right? Where they just could like interchange who defended. Yeah.
And I just don't consider that.
Kofi wasn't ever like the firm leader until kind of like later on.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think, when I think of stables, I think there's a clear cut leader.
Yeah.
And Kofi, I guess, is, but I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's getting. We've talked about that. You know, it's running its course, so to speak. So, okay, fair question. Good question to ask since the OC was brought up. Okay, so for my 4th pick, I'm going to go with another male superstar, and I'm going to go ahead and draft Drew McIntyre. He's currently out with an injury, so I think he's kind of been not forgotten, but you don't really think about him if it's not on TV. But we've talked before. I think he's got a really good persona with his heel character. This kind of like, I don't give a crap about anybody, I just want to destroy the idiots. Like, let's say you have, obviously a faceless champion, he could be a main eventer. Like, he could have a title and be okay.
Absolutely.
So I would love to have that type of guy on my roster. And also, I mean, again, you talked about bringing Reigns in for a rating standpoint. If you're doing a TV show and you're doing something like Fox, you have to look at the production side of things, right? And so, I don't know if you heard this, but I read today they're bringing pyrotechnics back to WWE shows. So Raw and Smackdown will have fireworks and things like that. So I've always McIntyre's entrance, his music, I think is amazing. Like, he's got one of the best. That when those bagpipes hit and those drums start pounding, I'm like, that's a really cool intro, right? And he's got that blue light that kind of comes on.
Yeah.
You could enhance that with some smoke, a little bit of like pyrotechnics kind of maybe coming out as he's coming down, maybe in tune with the drums. Like, so even production standpoint wise, you could make that entrance really cool visually for a TV audience.
I totally, and I think that I've read this comment and I kind of agreed with it. I think it's a little almost unfair. Drew McIntyre has $1 million look.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like a star.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know if he's been given the opportunity to show anything more than a $1 personality.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd love to see him be able to have a mic.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
even somebody with him that can get him over.
Paul Heyman.
I mean,
Somebody along.
Somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. He's just. I don't know, but it might be unfair because I don't know if he. I don't know if he is a. I don't know if he can't cut a promo or if he just hasn't been given the opportunities to.
Right.
But I totally agree. I think that he is just he is an absolute diamond waiting to be shined because he could be. I've always felt like he could be just a massive star.
Yeah. So I'd give him a shot with that. So, all right, your fifth pick again. You've got 2 men already, 1 woman, and 1 tag team. So you got 1 female left to draft, 1 tag team, and then your kind of wild card.
Yeah. Did you know Primo and Epico are still on the roster?
Are they really?
I don't know what they're doing.
I'd love to see who's running the WWE website and see if they've checked that recently.
Okay, so I'm going to go with kind of an outlier here. I'm going to go with a woman.
Okay.
And just because I really like her look, she doesn't get to talk a whole lot, so I don't know about promo-wise. I like her gimmick, though, and because I like the kind of badass chick vibe. I'm going to go with Sonya Deville.
Ooh, oh, interesting.
And I'm going to build some more women up who I think could be big.
Interesting.
Because now I have Becky, Sasha, and then this badass chick who's Sonya Deville. I would love to watch her and Becky just beat the piss out of each other. I think that'd be a great match. They've almost kind of teased it sometimes.
Yep.
On social media and things, and I'd like to see what she could do with the ball. I guess is the best way to put it.
I don't mind that pick at all. I think she fits the role right now because obviously kind of like Mandy Rose, I guess you say, is the leader of that little like Fire and Desire tag team. But I think she could go out on her own, and I think she could be just fine. So yeah, I'm 100% behind that. I think that's a great, absolutely great pick. And again, we have to understand when making a TV show, you have to solidify the mid card too. So worst case scenario, you have someone there that is now solidifying some of your mid card, area, which you have to do to some extent. Good pick. I'm going to go tag team again here. Just again, slightly playing strategy since you've already drafted 2 women. It gives me a chance to have some free reign on tag teams. I'm going to go with the Usos. They put on bang-up matches. Obviously, them in the Revival is gold. They could do some cool things with, I think, the Viking Raiders, combining their strength versus their speed. So again, just having 3 solid teams to help kind of rebuild that tag team division, and they're kind of the staples when it comes to that. So
good call.
They're not on TV right now. I heard they're trying to find something for them to do, and then they'll bring them back.
Because what's his name can't stay out of freaking trouble.
Right. So they said they're just waiting for the right storyline, basically. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Usos.
I like the pick. I've always been a big fan. I think that they are I think that they are one of my, maybe not one of my favorites, but they're always good matches. Always, I love the Uso Penitentiary, but I doubt they use that still, being that one of them is having a lot of trouble with the law lately.
But we'll see on Fox. I mean, they might encourage him to do it and go a little edgier. Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I like the pick.
Yeah. So, you, sir, need one more tag team. Or unless you're doing your wild card first. But you need one more tag team.
God. I mean, the Usos is such a good pick because it was really kind of what I wanted for my next tag team. I need a tag team to pair.
And you need a face. I mean, if you want to look again at booking, you need a face tag team because you have two heel tag teams. Not saying that heels can't fight each other, but if we're going traditional, like you need a baby face to battle those jerks.
So I might be forgetting something out there. I'm not going to take the New Day.
No, it's fine.
I might be forgetting something out there, and I kind of feel like I am. As far as a tag team, but I'm under the gun right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take my boys that I just
Heavy
named.
Machinery.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm gonna change. First of all, I'm gonna change the outfits because those are stupid.
They look really bad. It looks like they got them like one of those pop-up Halloween superstores.
Yes,
like, they're really bad.
But I'm a big fan. I think they're thoroughly entertaining, especially Otis. I think that they'd be a great, fun, any kind of person, any kind of kid, female, anything can enjoy them. And I for a face tag team, as far as right now that I can think of, I mean, I thought about the Street Profits, but do they even count anywhere?
Yeah, I don't know where they really are. I mean, like what brand they are with. Yeah. I just hear Paul Heyman likes them and wanted them on TV.
And that's why they're gone. I don't think they're on NXT anymore.
But they're traveling with them and doing shows with them.
Well, maybe it's... I don't know, because I thought it was a really quick trigger on them. Like a real quick pull-up.
Yeah, but I think I think the tag team division was... I mean, they were trying to find real teams, not just thrown together.
I mean, really, I didn't really know a whole lot about them until I saw that match, the ladder match.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going. I'm going with Otis. My boy Otis.
I mean, he's a stakes and weights, baby. Stakes and weights. Not a bad pick. Okay, I'm going to go with my wild card first.
Ooh.
And this is going to be a unique one. But again, if you're trying to solidify the mid card, thinking again, I have Shinsuke Nakamura currently as my IC champ. You have the mouthpiece Sami Zayn, right? So you have a guy that doesn't talk paired with a guy that talks. What could be a good feud there is pairing him, having Shinsuke battle a guy that just doesn't talk, let his actions essentially do the talking or talks minimally. So I'm going to go with Aleister Black, a guy who's been a little bit forgotten. You can go heel with him if you want. You can go face. But again, I don't necessarily see him yet as a main event title contender. You could push him into there eventually. But his wrestling style, I think, fits that mid-card well. Thinking of guys like battling Finn Balor, battling Nakamura, battling Ziggler, Rude, like they have that same kind of more like technical side. Not everything's gimmicky with their wrestling style, and so I think he'd be a good fit in the undercard, and I would have him in there, kind of feuding for the IC title and having little feuds in it amongst those guys.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, wild card, Aleister Black.
Interesting. Okay, well, we're down to the wild card, the last pick of the draft.
I have a feeling where you're going with this, but I'm not going to be sure. I'm not going to say it. I have a feeling, yeah.
I'd like you to tell me, because I'm not sure.
Oh, I figured you'd take somebody that we've talked about at length today.
Well, I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I have two choices here.
Okay. Give me the two. Let's hear the two. So
one's Finn Balor.
Okay.
The second one is Daniel Bryan.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you were going to take Baron Corbin.
You
talk about how you love his heat.
But you look at my roster.
Reigns.
I'm tired of Rollins and Reigns.
Right.
Rollins and Corbin.
True.
Move your hand. I have the Fiend who's going to control almost most of...
True. You don't want another heel in there.
As far as a mid-card heel, I have Styles, who can easily be heel or face.
Right.
Reigns, who under my control, who knows what's going to happen to him.
True.
And
you'd so want to pull the trigger on him being a heel. Partly, I think there's probably that love that.
Oh, I would. I would. Now, I have a question.
Yes.
Because now I'm getting a little tricky here. Is this under their current state in WWE?
Not necessarily. I mean, we'd be running the show. I mean, I've already said I would probably, change around the way, like, talk about moving Braun into a heel.
What about how often they use somebody?
That's up to you. I mean, you could bring him in more regularly if you wanted to.
Okay, I just changed my mind then.
Okay, to who?
I'm going to take John Cena.
Oh, good. I mean, that's, totally fine.
And he's going to be a heel.
Is he? A little heel turn? Little heel turn. He loves talking about the heel turn.
He's going to get a little heel turn.
Get a little heel turn. Hey, good for you. I mean, again, this is make-believe land. We can do whatever we want. We can say we're going to pick 38 more people.
Well, I mean, because if it was make-believe land, I'm saying, okay, well, I take the Undertaker and go have him go back in time 15 years.
Well, yeah, we can't necessarily do that. But yeah, John Cena could essentially still be a full-time worker right now. So yeah,
and I'd turn him heel and finally give everybody what they wanted.
Sure.
I'm a little heel heavy.
You are a little heel, but you love you some heels.
I do.
I mean, we both like heels in reality.
Yeah, and I'm a little heel heavy, and I'd have to maneuver around. Styles would have to go back to being a face for me.
Yeah.
Which would kind of screw up my.
But let's say you got Balor, you could have that dynamic where Balor stays in.
But I don't have Balor.
But I'm just saying, if we continue the draft, you draft Balor, and perfect. It's John Cena, solid, totally fine. Good job, good draft.
No, I'm trying to think of my storylines.
Yeah, no, that's great. I need my last pick. I need to take one other lady. I mean, it's going to be. I don't want to say like a boring pick because it's not a boring pick, but we just talked about her. I'd draft Carmella. Like we said, she does so well in whatever role you put her in. And she's not bad in the ring either.
No.
So right now, like as Bayley's champion, you could develop that feud, right? Like she doesn't like the fact that Bayley's turned to the bad side, and they could have that. She could be a face and feud with heel Charlotte. You could turn her heel, and there's a million ways you could go with her.
Of stuff.
So just to kind of have someone more experienced and someone that has a personality, because Charlotte has one, Bayley. It still feels super forced to me. I don't necessarily like this heel version. It just because it's like you talk about with the Miz being a face, right? Like she doesn't exude that, right? Like she doesn't exude that persona, right?
Have you ever seen this? Completely off topic, but talking about great heel work, and we're gonna wrap this up pretty quick here because we're already over our.
It's all right. We're not too bad.
However, have you seen? I know you haven't watched a whole lot of AEW, but have you seen this guy named MJF?
Yes.
He's like old school heel.
Yeah. At first I thought, I was like, who's this white guy trying to be Alberto Del Rio? That's what I first I saw the scarf, and I was like, what is this guy?
He is the most hated person.
Yeah, I hear he just gets a bunch of controversy because of how he goes about things.
Because he constantly is in his character.
But I love that.
Never leaves it.
I absolutely love that.
I mean, he was on Stone Cold's podcast.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been, I don't think it's been posted yet, but like it ends with like him throwing water in Stone Cold's face.
I mean, I love it that that's a guy that's living the gimmick. Like he's maintaining kayfabe.
Like I'm sure that he cleared it.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, I would hope.
I mean, and I'm sure Austin was just like, oh, hell yeah, let's do it.
Can I draft Stone Cold?
And so I think that, but like it ends, because I guess he does he will not leave character. And that's just beautiful to me.
I love it.
And he's like 22.
Yeah, I hear he's really young.
Like, I think that is just a beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. I can't wait to see AEW on TV just so we have that to also look at, just see kind of where they stack up.
It's supposed next couple of weeks.
It's like 8 days away. I think it's next week is when they debut.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I think maybe our not next episode, but the episode after, we should have some AEW stuff to talk about. I think
I'm fired up.
So I'm excited for it. But that'll have it. That's our little mini draft. So again, to recap, Corey would have Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Sasha Banks, the OC, Sonya Deville, Heavy Machinery, and John Cena. And
heel John
Cena. And I would have the Viking Raiders, Charlotte Flair, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, the Usos, Aleister Black, and Carmella.
The doctor of
thugonomics. Solid.
He might have to make a comeback in my way.
Oh, I would hope so. I would be disappointed in you if he didn't.
God, I love me some John Cena.
Oh yeah. So that is going to wrap it up though, because we're getting to go home. We're getting to go home. Cole's in our ear.
Okay.
He's telling us to go home. But again, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Check us out on Twitter, Cheap Pops WP. Check us out on Instagram, Cheap Pops WP. Check us out on Gmail, Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. And check us out on YouTube at Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast.
Episode 2 in the can.
In the can.
Are we at the ability to say every Tuesday?
I think it's safe to say every Tuesday you'll be able to check out a new episode of Cheap Pops Wrestling Podcast.
Beautiful. So check us out every Tuesday.
Coming at you.
Hit that little subscribe.
Hit subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Let us know that you're there. If you follow us on Twitter, give us a shout. Let us know. We'll give you a shout back.
We'll get Brent because we're right in the heat of Raw right now.
We are.
I don't know what Brent's plans for the rest of the night are, but I hope it has something to do with going and some commentary on the old Roski.
Oh, I'm sure there might have to be some, for sure.
Or maybe I'll have him give me the login.
Yeah, why not? We got to get you on here. I don't know if the people are ready for what you have to say. We'll get them there. We'll build them. We'll build them up.
We'll see.
But anyway, we appreciate your time. I am Brent.
I'm Corey.
And we will see you next time.